Remember, this show is PG-13, so you might hear a naughty word or two. Today, we have a commissioned episode. We draft Olympic teams as if everyone from that quad was at their absolute peak at Olympic trials. It's March 10th, 2025, and welcome to the #1 gymnastics podcast in the galaxy. I'm Jessica. I'm here with Spencer from the Balance Beam Situation. Before we get into this week, we are pre-recording this episode because I will have just been at the MIT Sloan Sports Analytics Conference where I was asked to put a panel together. And so I'll tell you guys all about that on College and Cocktails behind the scene at the end of the week. But first, let me hop in and give you a quick update here. Live show season passes are on sale now. Go to gymcastic.com. The first live show is going to be at NCAA's, and it's going to get international interest. So get your season pass now. Guests will be announced soon. I reached out to the FIG. This is a follow-up from last week about what President Watanabe said. And I asked the FIG, will Fujitsu be using AI judging, the Fujitsu system at Jakarta Worlds this year? And the FIG said no. Quote, the Fujitsu JSS system is already used on all 10 apparatuses at the 2023 Artistic Gymnastics World Championships in Antwerp to allow a review of the D-score in the event of an inquiry. At present, the FIG has no plans to use Fujitsu JSS outside of its support function at this year's World Championships in Jakarta. Remember, Fujitsu JSS, it stands for Judges Support System, so it's not required to be used, and this is separate from the FIG's Judges Evaluation Program. That's JEP, and that's the one that chooses the most accurate judges, and that's different and separate. So you can listen to our interviews with Dr. Hughes Mercier, who did the evaluation system, to see how that works, and I'll put the links in the show notes. Other things that happened this week: LSU set a program record with a 198.5 for senior night, but Oklahoma is still ranked number 1 in the NQS. Missouri and Michigan State are rounding out 7th and 8th places by NQS teams right now. The other big news: several Russian gymnasts, including Olympic and world all-around champion Angelina Melnikova, were approved for independent athlete status. So this is, you had to go through a process and a review and a background check to make sure that you didn't have anything to do with propaganda about the war and you were not supported by the military of Russia and the war against Ukraine. And so this means that Melnikova is back, or can be back, for Worlds in Jakarta this year. The other thing that happened this weekend is that Chuso, at age 49, didn't just make finals, didn't get a medal, but won vault gold last weekend at the Baku World Cup. And her form is better, you guys. At 49, her form is better. Now, Spencer, let us begin with this commissioned episode. This is a commissioned episode by a Club Gymnast member, Alex. Club Gymnast members are the ones who help us pay the bills, and in return, they get goodies like discounts on live show tickets, first dibs on live show tickets, which are coming up very soon. They get an extra episode every single week. They get extended interviews and a discount in the merch store. So this episode was commissioned by Alex, aka the I Love You Tasha guy. Remember from the yelling at Tasha while she was mid-beam routine, who gave us the most exquisite, well-organized, complete commission with an additional spreadsheet and annotated outline that we've ever had. Alex, we love you so much. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Spencer, will you read the brief?
Sure. As any good gym nerd, I am constantly going back in time and assessing whether the right Olympic team was chosen, and if I were Marta, God forbid, would I have made any other choices? One thing that pains me in these reflections is the fact that there have always been gymnasts that halfway through the quad seemed like absolute shoo-ins for the team, and then Marta / their coaches, either physically, mentally, or both, beat them up so bad they weren't at their peak at trials, or they were completely off the gymnastics map and disappeared into the see you never category. All right, Jessica and Spencer, you finally have the job that we know you are perfectly suited for, national team coordinator. But in this case, you don't have to worry about training camps, conditioning, meet preparation, etc. Your only job is to pick the most competitive Olympic team. So here are the rules. We're going through each quad Post Atlanta, obviously the Mag 7 team was perfect and I won't hear anything otherwise. So that's off the table. For each quad, you pick the number of gymnasts based on the rules at the time. For example, the Sydney format is 6-5-4, Athens is 6-3-3, London 5-3-3, Tokyo 4-3-3, puts 2 individuals. Still so dumb. Jessica, you actually have to pick this number of athletes. You cannot choose a team of 5 and then have 7 other gymnasts tied for 6th place.
Rude.
If you're really heartbroken over leaving an athlete home, you can name 2 traveling alternates. You can even name 2 non-traveling alternates if you must.
I have already. Thank you, Alex.
Spencer, you will have to monitor /babysit /enforce this rule with Jessica. I love that you think that's possible. It's not happening. With all the best gymnasts from the quad competing at their quad peak level at the same time with no injuries, burnout, or retirements, who do you pick? Please go through quad by quad and determine your Olympic team plus alternates if necessary. Then, who do you put up in a team finals format? Remember, our ultimate goal is to win. I have a feeling I'm going to be referring back to that note as Jessica starts naming teams with like 7 people who've never done a bars routine on them. Our added condition is that we're given it about like 10 minutes per Olympics, because otherwise we're going to talk about this for 10,000 years and we might die. So that's just happening. Ready, set, debate. Ready to go? We're going to start with most recent to ease our way into it with something our brains actually might remember because it was recent enough. We'll ease into it with Paris. Do you want to start? Should I start? Notes, analysis, thoughts going in?
First, I would just like to say that even though I've read this 3 times, I already put it out of my mind that the object is to win team finals because I was like, oh, the object is to win. I put that in my mind. And then I was like, yeah, so win medals of any color. So I'm just going to put up a team that can win all the event finals and all-around finals.
So we've already established that Jessica is ignoring the rules, which was, I think, inevitable.
Okay, so I think the other thing I just want to say, caveat, is to make this interesting. I'm not changing the rules. But I'm just saying to make this interesting. So Fact Checker has set a timer for 10. Don't start the timer yet.
No, we haven't started talking about Paris yet.
Okay, but I want to say, like, one of us has to be contrarian and make a point. We have to argue. We have to debate this.
I love that you think we're like that's not naturally going to happen. Like, imagine the teams you're picking, the teams you have in mind. Think about how mathematically flawed they are, and how I'm going to have. I'm always fine with things that are mathematically flawed. I never have any contrary thoughts about that. So. No. I love that you think that's not going to happen because it's going to happen.
Okay, so number 1. Okay,
Paris Olympics. You may now start the timer.
All right, here we go.
Actual team, first of all. Simone Biles, Suni Lee, Jordan Childs, Jade Carey, Hesley Rivera. So that's the team we're working with. And now we start talking about if everyone were at their peak and healthy.
Right. So this is the problem because I'm like, well, obviously I'm always going to take Simone and Suni and Jordan are always on the team, like, period. If they're at their peak, done.
We already have a disagreement.
Okay. Jade and Hesley are my people that I'm like, I'm not sure. Like, I'm trying to think, you want to go back before you knew the results. That's the hard thing about this, because who would you have picked at the time at their peak through the whole quad? So then I'm like, well, it's absolutely Shilese and Sky and Tiana and Connor. Which I think that team could also win.
Tom Forster over here. We could send 3 teams to the Olympics. Okay. I do agree. So, like, I don't think I'm going out on a limb to say that a healthy Shilese Jones would have finished second all around at trials to Simone.
Right.
I think that's solid. Her classic score was more than a point better than Jordan Childs.
We both agree about
Sky Blakely finished second all around at nationals. Also ahead of Jordan Childs and Suni Lee. So I say, if you have the people at their peak, your top 3 all around at trials would have been Simone, Shilese, and Sky. They're on my team. Then I'm looking at Suni, obviously. You need that bars for the team, but also Suni, obviously.
Right.
And then where does that team still need someone? vault and floor. If I'm looking at who's contributing vault and floor, I'm taking Jade Carey, because at this point we don't know that she's going to be like sick at the Olympics and not really able to do floor. We don't have that information yet. So I'm saying, yeah, Simone Biles, Shiley Jones, Sky Blakely, Suni Lee, Jade Carey as my team. And then alternates would be Jordan Childs, and I would say probably Kayla DiCello, because we're also adding in a healthy Kayla DiCello. And I think she would just be like solid all-arounder there, right up there in the all-around standings, could plug in anywhere kind of alternate.
Yeah. So this is the thing. We both agree. So it's going to be Simone. I'm going to take Suni for bars because we've known this whole time at the peak for sure. And then Sky at her peak
with this Chung that we saw, and then we were like, oh, she's on the team. So that's Sky peak is also like like nationals 2024. Yep.
Where then I was like, well, Tiana looked amazing and she can do beam and she upped her difficulty. But because we have our 3 vaulters, if we have the Sky, Shy, Suni, or Sky, Shy, Simone vault lineup, then I'm looking at what other events are we filling out. So I'm like, Tiana's good on floor, Connor's great on beam, and Connor won't get any.
What year of Connor McLean?
Well, see,
in this quad, so we're talking post Tokyo, like
right.
what because she we only saw her on beam. We only very limited in her quest to make the Paris team before she was injured.
Right. I just want the LSU quad of Connor, happy, settled Connor,
who can NCAA difficulty to make an Olympic team.
Right. That's Sure. I don't. There's many caveats to the routine construction we saw in Elite that came out of the LSU coaching was always questionable. But the other thing is, this is the big question about this though. If we were using any quad peak,
no.
I was gonna say Gabby Douglas also competed here, but we never saw her. We're only supposed to use the quad, not any quad. So quad.
Gabby is just like half a bars routine is what you have to choose from for Gabby for the Paris team.
Yeah. So going down to it, I feel like for team finals, we're going to put up Simone, Shiley, and Sky, but I want someone else for beam. I'm not going to put Sky on beam, not because she isn't great on beam, because of her history of not.
But don't you have Simone, Suni, and Shy on this team already? I mean, that's 3. That's quite a beam lineup.
Right. So then who's my last person? Because then I have to fill out
Well, where do you feel weak? I think your team needs a bars routine.
Bars. Yeah. And Shiley's would be the bars person. So that's covered.
But Shiley's and Suni and Simone is then your bars lineup.
Well, Sky has great
you're
bars
putting
too.
Sky over Simone.
Well, no, because Simone.
No, I mean that's
that's what I would do.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
So basically, you want a Tokyo team with 4 people, and you don't need this 5th spot.
And I just want Connor for her form, but I'm not allowed to use feelings. Alex told me not to use my feelings.
I mean, so who are you putting up then on floor with you? So your Biles, Shiley Jones, Sky Blakely, who else is on your team? Suni and blank. I thought you earlier said Jordan Childs was obvious. You couldn't possibly not choose Jordan Childs.
I know. This is why I think it is going to be Jordan, because I'm going to want her for floor, because I know she could be a floor world champion. So I want her to be. I know she could have been 3rd with Andrade and Simone in the same lineup on floor for event.
That is how it was for a second.
That was how it was for a second. So yeah, and I mean, and the thing with Jade is, I would. Even at her peak, I want her as an alternate to plug in anywhere, because that's great about her. But she can make a vault and floor final. But then I want the people that have the absolute highest scores, and I know have done it in the past, and who have changed their routine construction to fit what can actually get credit. Well, in the end, that was the question with Jordan. But so I guess
we're not going there. This is pre-Olympic selection, so we don't have to go there.
All right, so my team is going to be
I would
Shiley,
also say Jade is great on vault over Shy, because she has more difficulty.
That's true. So Simone, Suni, Jordan, Chellsie, and Sky. That's my team. And then I'm taking Tiana, Connor, and Jade as my alternates.
Okay.
So what's our floor? So that our floor lineup in finals is pretty obvious.
You're saying you're putting Biles, Chellsie Jones, and Jordan Childs on the floor in the team final, which is also a very good lineup. So our teams are just different by one person.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I'm taking Jay Carey and you're taking Jordan Childs.
Yeah.
So I feel like,
which is right.
I get it. Like I'm fine with it. My contention here is with my team, I am not putting Suni up in the all-around in qualification. Even though she medaled, I feel like she's the fourth best all-arounder on that team if Chellsie Jones and Sky Blakely are healthy. And so I'm putting Simone, Chellsie, and Sky in the all-around, Suni, bars, and beam, Jade, vault, and floor in qualification.
Remind me, how did Sky do in the quad during team prelims? Was she hitting beam? Was it only finals when she wasn't hitting beam?
I could look at her hit rate.
Because I know you have that data ready. Because now...
So she did... So 23 Worlds, she missed on beam in qualification and then didn't go. And wasn't in the lineup in the team final. So that's kind of how it was going. Yeah, we never saw... I mean, I don't think she ever hit beam at Worlds. Like, she had a solid one in qualification in 2022. And by solid, I mean, like, her score was okay. But it was not, like, in the 14s the way she was capable of.
And Chellsie also had, when she made beam finals, then she also had the, energy for dismount, which blot.
I think with Chellsie, it was like definitely a process. Still active elite gymnast. In terms of gaining confidence to hit beam, like I think I trust her more in the past year than I did before in terms of hitting beam. I think she's developed more consistency, and that's been a change. But yeah.
Okay, so
who's it? Final minute of 2024. Who's going in the all around in qualification, and who's not on your team?
I feel like for me, I would give Suni the shot to do it. I think if you've earned if you're the defending Olympic champion, you've earned the right.
Okay, so who doesn't vault or floor in qualification then on your team? So you have Simone, Chellsie, Sky, and Jordan also on this team, and someone's not going to be able to do vault or floor in qualification if Suni's doing them, if you're putting her in the all-around.
I want Suni on floor, so I guess I would take...
I mean, Sky, I think, is the weakest on floor there, so I think that's a fine argument, but who's not vault?
In prelims, yeah.
In prelims, yeah.
In prelims, yeah. So I'm taking Sky out of floor, and out of vault, who's not vaulting? Then, yeah, Suni's not vaulting. No, but Suni has to vault. Okay, I've got it.
It's hard. It's
very hard.
This is the difficulty.
This is why this is a draft.
We expect our listeners to have pads of paper out at home and spreadsheets and doing their own teams and then emailing us to tell us how wrong Jessica is. Because I think by default, you're not using Jordan Childs on vault, and that's also kind of insane.
Yeah. That is the thing. I mean, I guess we have to approach this in the...
Time has expired, but...
Okay. We know we're going to make... Like, it's not going to be hard to make team finals, so you can take one risk on vault and take out someone. But yeah, that's what I would do. And I'm sticking with it because I do think that being an Olympic champion, you should be able to defend. As long as you're in tenths of each other.
You made the team. It's like you were in a position to make the team. You're
going to be
sipping
and this
cocktails
is everyone's
pool,
at their peak.
You deserve to if you've been Olympic champion. There's
nothing
wrong with sipping cocktails by the pool.
And everyone's at their peak. They're not at their they're going to be at their best at this. Yeah. So we don't have to wonder. Before we go on to Tokyo, the big one, because we're allowed to. We have a
4+2 team.
Insane. The +2, the most genius thing ever, Alex, even though you don't like it.
Worst idea there's ever been.
Some GymCastic updates. Spencer, when are you doing your watch-along party before College and Cocktails on Friday?
Well, so this week we're doing watch-along party on Friday, March 14th, starting at 4 p.m. Pacific with the Friday Night Heights. I'll chat. You can respond. We'll talk about it. We'll have a grand time. College and Cocktails will be on Saturday night this week on March 15th after UCLA Utah, because we got to talk about UCLA Utah.
So much to say. And also such enjoyable teams to watch too. I'm very excited about this. Okay, so that's College Cocktails.
Now we just need the coaches to get in a fight. And that'll be great. Carly and Janelle, those two classic sparring partners.
It will be the most fun. Like, they would do like Duck, Duck, Goose with some kind of costumes on. That's what it would be, because they are like happy, creative, joy people. If you want to make sure you never miss a College and Cocktails episode, you can add it to your calendar so you never miss one. It's in the show notes. Do you need a gateway drug to get someone in your area, in your life, into gymnastics as much as you are? Do you need a drug just to get you more into gymnastics, deeper in? Do you need a distraction from what is happening in the United States right now? You're in luck. We have a fantasy league. So after you've used the 5 calls app to register your upset with your representative, you can do the fantasy league. And we have Fantasy Gymnastics Update, which is our fantasy podcast where we tell you the steals, deals, who's on a buy, what to do. You can join the league. You can join anytime. There's no deadline to draft. You can draft a new team every week. Is at gymcastic.com. And this week, lineups lock on March 14th at 2:30 p.m. Pacific. Let us move on to Tokyo 2021.
4+2. Okay. So the actual team: Simone Biles, Suni Lee, Jordan Childs, Grace McCallum, plus individuals, Jay Carey and Michaela Skinner. That classic individual strategy of picking 2 gymnasts with the same strengths. It's fine. I'm over it.
Right.
Totally over it. Okay.
All right.
Thoughts?
Okay. I'm
ready to say something controversial but I can wait if you have something controversial to say.
I don't think mine is controversial. But go ahead. Tell me your controversial thing.
Regan Smith, 2017, before she janked her ankle at Montreal Worlds, would have made this Olympic team after finishing 3rd all around at trials behind Simone and Suni. I'm very brave for saying that, and I would like some credit. It's an act of bravery. Yeah.
I am patting you on the back in the air, not actually touching you right now.
Thank you.
I mean, for me, peak gymnastics, Morgan Hurd and Regan Smith are on the team. Period. End of story. They're on the team. If we're taking peak. So that means that that means Simone, Suni, Morgan, and Regan. That's my team, which I don't feel good about. But I
have some questions about the Yurchenko double full technique on that team. They can get them around. There might be some issues.
It's not a vault team.
But they all had double fulls. They had them. And if you're saying peak, there were definitely times where all of them landed very well on their double fulls. I would not say it's the most comfortable event for anyone except Simone.
Yeah.
Also, I think Simone kind of hates vault. She's just the best there's ever been at it.
The only thing about this team, like the strategy has always been obliterate everyone with your giant vault D. Just slap it around, wave it in the air. No one
needs this.
That was absolutely what Marta was doing with the vaults. This team is not that team. Oh, honestly. You know what the stuff she would do, like how she would run around and like not speak to people and walk through and like act like she owned the place. Like, she would just be like, watch our vaults. You're going to lose. The meet hasn't started. You're going to lose. So I'm just saying it was a good strategy. But this is handcuffing Brian Carey's genius by Brian Carey was a genius by navigating the whole system of 2021 by being like, oh, there's a way to make sure you get to the Olympics by dominating on an event. That's what we will do. And essentially what I'm saying is vault dominance, meh. Floor dominance, meh. I mean, Regan Smith on floor, Morgan on floor, at her peak too, when she was killing it on floor.
Mm-hmm.
But
I will say, I stand by the opinion that if the Olympics had been able to happen in 2020, Morgan Hurd would have made the team.
Totally.
But let's the way where everyone was projecting forward to like summer 2020, I think she makes the team. But if you are giving everyone their peak and including Jade in the team conversation, because we're not bound by, the things that happen, so you can put Jade wherever you want. I think that's harder. So I still am going with Simone, Suni, Jade, and Regan Smith as my 4. And you're going with Simone, Suni, Regan Smith. You're going with Morgan Hurd instead of Jade, contrasting our teams.
Yes. So are you basically negotiating with Jade to say, if you give up your World Cup spot, we will guarantee you a spot on the team because you already earned it?
We don't have to deal with what really happened because this is a fantasy game. So we're saying Jade didn't go to the World Cup route.
Oh, well.
Like that, we're saying that never happened, and we're just picking her for the team of 4.
And your main strategy for that is you're maximizing your floor and vault scores.
My main strategy for that is my main strategy for everything, which is the highest scoring team.
Yeah.
But yes, that is what I'm doing. And then I have, everyone goes in qualification. It was a 4-member team, so everyone goes in qualification, so we don't have to decide who's going in the all-around. And then I have probably Suni and Jade splitting events in the team final. Suni bars and beam, Jade vault and floor, and then Regan Smith's 2017 nationals going on every event.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so but we have to talk about our individuals, which we haven't. Our +2 individuals, which we have not done yet, which I think is very interesting.
I still contend though that my highest scoring team, if it is at everyone's peak, Simone, Suni, Morgan, and Regan would have been the highest scoring team if we took all their peaks from that quad.
It wouldn't have been, but it's good. It's a good team. It's close. I mean, I think you're higher with Regan. And by I think, I mean, I obviously did the math.
You mean?
I love that I'm pretending like I think it probably would. No. The only team that scores better than that using everyone's peaks from the quad, get ready for this. Because this is Alex's team, by the way.
Yeah.
Simone Biles, Suni Lee, Jade Carey, Riley McCusker.
I mean, this is the other thing. So I have Riley. So I wrote down my who do I want on the team? Who do I want in the mix? And then I narrowed it to get my feelings out of the way. But Riley, it's Morgan, Regan, and then Riley and Kara Aker are my 2 +1s for beam and bars.
Get ready for it. I agree with you on the individuals.
What's happening?
I don't know.
Am I being pranked?
Yeah, probably.
Oh my God. Yeah, same thing for beam and bars.
Yeah, I mean, I think mine makes more sense because I do have 2 vaulters already on the team with Simone and Jade. So you've got those covered. So I'm looking at what, if you have Simone and Jade on vault and floor, you have your 2 event finalists, you have Suni on bars, but you don't necessarily have a second event finalist there. So that's why I want Riley in an individual spot. And then beam, you certainly already have 2 event finalists on your main team in Simone and Suni. But it's beam. So if you're going to reinforce like another option for event finals, I think beam's the one that makes the most sense because whoever knows who's going to fall on beam. So then I'm saying, yeah, Kara Aker, the time she got credit for her rings, we can use that peak Kara Aker, meaning nationals, when she got credit for her rings before she went to Worlds, and they were like, no, that's the Kara Aker we get to pick.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, well, since we're choosing a team and we're national team coordinator, we can say, like, you have to change that. You're not going to get credit. So fix this.
Right.
Or you're not in the lineup. That's what I would do. I'd be like, we're trying to get you to win a medal. Our goal is for you to win a medal. Let us help you. Stop listening to your coaches. Do what we say.
Don't do that ring. You learned the lesson from Worlds. Don't do it ever again.
Don't ever do it again. Yeah. Enjoy your life and add something else in there.
Do the rest of the stuff. The good parts. There are many good parts. Do the good parts.
And knowing now, like, how crazy that beam final was, with people all being all over the place, and Pikachu from Romania being out, Larissa Yordaki.
Okay. Sure. I thank you for coming up with the name, because Pikachu from Romania was not going to get it done for me.
Remember her Pikachu leotard? Never forget. Anyway.
Who are your alternates on this team? I'll go with mine first. Think amongst yourself. I'm saying then Jordan Childs is an alternate, because she's almost on that team for me, but with everyone at their peak. But I think Reagan 2017 has higher scores. And then Morgan Hurd at 2020 level is my other alternate.
I think mine would be, looking at everybody at their peak. I mean, I really like Grace because she's consistent and I could plug her in anywhere. And I would pick...
Which is what actually literally ended up happening.
Right, exactly. And then Jordan would be my other pick, I think, because... And then for my third... Do we get a third alternate for that?
No, we only got two, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
I think there were always... You can pick as many alternates as you want. There were often three.
Because there's two that I have...
Because Leanne and Kara Aker and Emma Malabuyo were all alternates. Didn't they all travel with the team?
I can't remember if they were all there in Tokyo. I think they were all there.
I mean, there was a quarantine situation.
Yeah, because they wouldn't be able to get in time if they had a non-traveling alternate. Yeah. Yeah, I feel good about those. Yeah. I mean, Riley, but Riley's on my team, so I don't have to worry about her. Yes, she's already on my team.
And, everyone did the all-around in qualification, so Riley's going.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. We did it. Time's up. All right.
Okay.
We're killing it. We're doing amazing. This is shocking.
Our teams are perfect.
No notes.
Okay.
All right. Rio.
The team was Simone Biles, Lori Hernandez, Allie Raceman, Gabby Douglas, Madison Koshin. Getting it out of the way, first of all, we both agree that despite any drummed up controversies based on Olympic trials, this was the correct team. But now you get to add in everyone's peak throughout the quad. Do you have changes to make to this team?
I know this team. I mean, this is one of the teams that I was like, it's so hard, because I was like, this is exactly right. And you had Koshin, who was a world champion on bars going into this. So you want your world champion on bars. The only person I think, this one's very hard for me. If we're going by peaks, Reagan, if we're going by peaks.
Say if we're going by peaks again. Okay,
this one's I had a really, really hard time, because I have Regan Smith, Maggie Nichols, and Bauman. Bauman, pre-injury, when we were she's going to be, she's going to have a beam medal. But I think the only person I would switch out of this would be Koshin. So then I'm like, well, who is the person that's the best on bars? And then it would have been Ashton Locklear, who you could not use anywhere else at all. But
theoretically, she physically could do a beam, but it wasn't what you.
But you wouldn't use it.
And so, if you're deciding between Koshin bars and Locklear bars, Koshin had a little bit higher score.
Yes, but then I'm also like, is Locklear hitting every single time in this quad, even at her peak? And the answer is no. So, but we're going at their peak. But your peak includes, we're talking peak physical abilities, not peak, but you still have to take the whole
peak
perspective.
Peak is peak.
What are yours?
I'm going to throw something out here that I feel, two things out here that I feel like you have not yet taken into account.
Okay.
One is Caitlin Ohashi's 2013 American Cup performance, where she beat Simone, is part of this quad.
Oh, that's right.
So I think I don't have that in mind, but I'm going to throw that in there as a wrench for you to make this harder.
Oh, that's right.
Also, Michaela Maroney's 2013 Vault World Championship performance is part of this quad. That is the one question for me on this team. It's like, do you
and Brenna Dowell
being Brenna, do you put in Michaela Maroney's 2013 vault instead of Gabby Douglas? Use Lori on bars instead of Gabby, which is a scoring hit, but then you've made it up with having Maroney's vault instead of Lori's Yurchenko double full, because then you're gaining a lot.
Right.
So I think it kind of ends out as a wash, but I think that's a legitimate change to this team that would maintain at least maintain its scoring potential.
Yeah. I would.
Also, what about Kyla 2013, 2014?
I know, that's the thing, because she's at 2013.
She's nailing it with the execution scores. She's withstanding the year 2013.
It is so hard to pick this team without thinking about how historic it ended up being and how great it was to have Gabby make that team again and become an Olympic gold medalist again. So, and Lori's on my team. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. She's on my team. She was on my Olympic team from the first time I saw her when she was 12.
Oh, have you mentioned that?
I have mentioned that. So, but I would absolutely have put 2013 Kyla and Michaela Maroney on the team. So then I have to take out
Douglas and Koshin.
Douglas.
But I mean, I don't think you can take out Allie. You might.
I know. I might take out Allie for Koshin. I think I would take out Allie for Koshin and Kyla Ross.
So who's going on floor? But now we have to, if you're going to do something crazy like this, like taking Allie Raceman off the Rio team, we got to talk about what your lineups are going to be and how bad they are.
So then I would have Simone, Gabby. No, who got higher? Lori got a higher score on floor, right?
At that point, Lori would have been outscoring Gabby on floor.
Yeah.
In 2016, yes.
Simone, Lori, and then
you need a third floor worker named Allie Raceman, but you've already eliminated her from your team. So,
and then I think Michaela at her peak was scoring, but Kyla is I just know she's going to be perfect and hit. So I think I might put. Now I'm going to put Maroney on floor.
Okay. You guys, Jessica's putting Michaela Maroney on floor in the team final. Just, you heard it too.
Or Kyla. Yeah. What are your...
So, I mean, I am picking the team that it was. So, and I'm picking the team final. And actually, my only change is that I'm putting Lori on bars in qualification instead of Allie Raceman because her routine was better. So I don't have Allie in the all-around at the Rio Olympics. I have Lori Hernandez. Because it's always been a question, like, was she injured? We were kind of like...
Oh, she was. She said she had a totally torn ab.
I shouldn't have said, was she injured? Was she able to go at a high enough level? Is not the same question as was she injured?
Yes.
Was she able to compete bars? Because if she was, but also we didn't know that yet when we're picking the team. So.
Right. When she might have not, I think she did it in training. I don't think she had it going in. So when we're picking Lori at her peak.
I mean, there certainly were, the screaming matches between Marta and Maggie Haney about Lori not being in the all around. But, when was Maggie Haney ever advocating for an athlete's health? So that maybe doesn't tell us a lot.
That's a thing. Yeah, this was an interesting one because this was the one where in the end, Marta was like, yeah, just do 3 routines. You're done for the day. That's it. 2 or 3 routines and we're done. Like totally different than all the other times. My team is the team. I'm just swapping out the qualification lineup to put Lori on bars. Alternate wise, Maggie Nichols with an Amanar. I don't think even, like, obviously Maggie Nichols was not all the way back at trials in 2016 and didn't have all her difficulty. I think not even with all her difficulty was she making that team, but I think at her peak,
she's my She's an alternate.
Yeah.
And then Kyla's not on my team. So Kyla 2013, 2014 is perfect, obviously. So there's an alternate right there.
Yeah. I think for me, alternates, Reagan, because she can do everything, put her up anywhere. Maggie at her peak. So 2015 Maggie. And then who did I take off the team? Allie.
Allie. Oh, a casual alternate. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I'm also like, you're not taking the. Yeah, this was difficult, but I'm trying to make an interesting team that I still think this team would win. When they're all at their peak, that team would still win.
Yeah, in Rio. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think our Tokyo teams would have won? No, because I mean, if you had the same thing is happening to Simone, that kind of.
Yeah.
That skunked it. So.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. If we had to plan for what would eventually happen, we have to plan for the team without Simone, and so then we're adding
right, and that's not
Jade.
kind of not what you're picking.
Yeah, but that's not the brief. That was not the brief.
It's not the brief. It's not the brief.
We must stick to the brief. Speaking of which, okay.
So we still have a little bit of time on left on Rio, so I have a question for you.
Yes.
You're not if Allie Raceman is not in your Olympic team, who are your all-arounders? Who are your all-around medalists?
So Simone and Kyla, I think, would have been the all-around medalists if on that team. Kyla Ross
over Gabby, because this is Gabby on your team, and she almost made the all. I mean, she was just per country out.
She would have beat. Kyla Ross.
I think Gabby 2016 beats Kyla 2013, 2014. You don't?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. Except,
I mean, Gabby 2016 Olympic specifically, not like Olympic trials, because Gabby was the gamer that she is and was like, I got on the team at trials and now I'm going to show up at the Olympics and be the best I've been since London.
Right. And that's the thing. I mean, we have to pick before the Olympics.
Yeah.
So before the Olympics at Kyla's peak, yes. But then you also have to pick people in potential. That's the thing. Like, Gabby was picked because of her bars. And
which she was on the highest scoring team from trials.
And that's the thing. And that was the thing that put it over the edge. Did you say who you're going to put up? Who's your...
Because I'm being boring and picking the same team and doing the same lineups except for qualification.
Yeah.
So I have basically it played out how it plays out is my 2016 answer.
Yeah. Which is always what's so ironic about the Rio Olympics. It was the least controversial. When you understand the rules and the goal of 3 up, 3 count, only 3 people can compete in finals, all 3 scores count. This team was perfectly chosen. It's like one of the only teams ever that was absolutely perfectly chosen for that. And so it's so hard to go back. Like, I really was trying to be like, okay, pretend you don't agree with this. Use people when they were at their peak. And thinking about 2013 Worlds, I'm like, God, the Kyla Simone, Michaela Maroney team with Brenna. I mean,
with Brenna getting
Brenna got
to the side.
Right. Oh, wait until you read Amy's book. Which have you guys all pre-ordered? It's coming out. The Balance, Amy Borman. It has a bunch of details about what happened and why Brenna. The whole situation is, You will.
That's the best teaser you've given for this book so far.
You will find all the details out in the book. I'm telling you, all in there. Okay. We surpassed our time. We went over. Okay. So
well, we started talking about the book, so that doesn't count because that's separate.
That is
an analysis of the Olympics.
But if you aren't already playing a drinking game at home or do squats or push-ups,
drinking every time Jessica says peak, you're dead.
So you should change it to squats or push-ups or punch yourself in the face or send those
are the same level of health.
Whatever you need to. Punching yourself in the face and drinking are the same level of health. So
that's fair.
It's literally poison.
I mean, push-ups probably are better for you than punching yourself in the face.
They are.
I've said a lot of controversial things in this episode, and that might be the most controversial. But
yeah. I want to go back to Rio for 1 second because people are gonna. We have talked about this a million times on the show, and we have many, you can go back and listen to our entire catalog. So you can listen to what we said at the time about the team. You can listen to the many subsequent years of talking about that. I would especially point you to the episode where we talk about the Netflix documentary that Jen Say did that is called Athlete A, where we talk specifically about there were people's feelings about not being chosen for the team, Maggie Nichols especially not being chosen for the team because she was the first to report. But the math doesn't add up to that. And also, of course, Allie Raisman was also reported then, and she was chosen for the team. So there just isn't evidence to show that happened. It doesn't mean it didn't. It just, there isn't any evidence to that. So I just want to go back and say, please listen to our years of discussion on this if you want to understand more while we're talking about that. The math doesn't math for someone being retaliated against. It just isn't, the evidence isn't there. Especially now that we know almost everyone on the team.
Club Gym Nerd, you get discounts and first dibs on live show tickets, an extra whole podcast every week, athlete dossiers for major competitions, code guides, options to commission your own segments. It also makes a great gift. Check it out at gymcastic.com at the Join the Club tab.
Okay, London 2012.
Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. Okay, the actual team. Gabby Douglas, Allie Raisman, Jordan Weber, Michaela Maroney, Kyla Ross. I think this is another very hard team to argue against. I think there are. I'm going to present some possible counter arguments and then we'll talk through them. Because you have some counter arguments just based on what actually happened at trials, like not inserting anyone's other peak, like Evie, which there is a legitimate argument that her just like not finding a peak from a different era, different year, just like her performance at trials then could have been on the team.
And Elizabeth Price was fourth all around or third all around? Fourth all around and not chosen. But this is the third Olympics where it was 3 up, 3 count. So people should have understood we're not going by rank all around order like some people who were just afraid of like I'm talking about Tom, who did we get rid of? Tom Forster. Who was like, we can't have controversy, so we have to go by rank all around order. I was like, that's not how the sport works.
Controversial.
That is the controversy. You're not actually trying to pick strategically the highest scoring team. You're just giving up and just saying, well, it's more controversial to only pick by all around. Yeah. Anywho.
Anyway, that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about London 2012. And the greatness that is. Okay, so I feel like Gabby Douglas, we're not arguing against that. She's on the team.
Right. She's obviously on the team.
Jordan Weber was the top gymnast for almost that entire quad until Gabby was like, boop.
And the reigning world champion. Yep.
Yeah. Michaela Maroney vaults like Michaela Maroney.
You have her on the team for vault.
Strong across her best events. You need her on the team. Kyla Ross is Kyla Ross. Look at her gymnastics. It's really hard to argue to take any of them off the team. I will say my one contention is, here's how I think about this. I think that Rebecca Bross 2010 national championships makes this team instead of Kyla Ross, but I think it's the wrong call. But I think it's what would have happened.
I agree with you. Yes.
Because I think that Bross would have gotten like 15-4 on beam at trials. An amazing beamer. Great beam routine. And that would have put her over the top for the team, and we would not have seen that score then reflected in what happened at the Olympics. Which was not always the case. I mean, like every day we heard like, Allie's not going to get those scores internationally. Allie's not going to get those scores internationally. And then she did every single time. Or higher on bars, because there are some of those bars routines at like Worlds and Olympics I'm still not clear on.
This is the whole thing about this team is like, I never would have put Allie on these teams because of her form, because I thought she would be deducted so much harsher, but she wasn't. She never was. Like, and so that's the thing. It's like, if you go by the code, Allie should not have been getting those scores. And obviously, this is not about Allie. It's about how the judges were judging. That
Allie
was
a perfect human being.
right.
But
We have
she had
absolutely
form deductions. We can
zero
establish
criticism of her.
everyone. I think everyone listening is mature enough to understand that those two things can happen.
Right. Just clarifying for the 1 millionth time, we're not talking about the human being. We're talking about the judging of the event. So yeah, like it's the same with Bros. Like I probably wouldn't have put her on teams because I'm just like, there's no way she's going to get those scores. But then she went to Worlds and she almost won, and till she did the little head cartwheel on floor.
Yeah, 2009 Worlds.
Yeah. So yeah,
there's another one. You have 2009 world champion Bridget Sloan, and who you could bring in for this team.
So for me, the people I would have taken off of this team, even though this team is perfect and so iconic, I would take Allie off. And I would have taken Kyla Ross off probably because I would have put an
I would have put. It's such a painful thing to even think about. But I know it's vomitous.
It feels like I want to crawl out of my skin just saying that.
I know.
But I would have put Evie on the team because you could plug her in anywhere and she would have gotten great scores anywhere. And then my other thing is like I really felt at the time, and there was an argument for highest scoring team with Annalee's bars. Mm-hmm. If Annalee had been on bars, and you can use her in other places, but you wouldn't, maybe beam, but you would just have taken, she would have been like a Koshin, or which Koshin was in Rio. Koshin was a Koshin and she was just taken for bars, but she could do floor for the sake of getting a score. But that's why I would have taken her, because besides Gabby, that's your bar high score. Mm-hmm. And then the other two people I was considering are like Sacramone and Finnegan. The Sacramone did great.
I think Sacramone then, like if you're taking peak Sacramone for that quad, she was the victim of the United States of Amanar.
Yeah.
Like there were too many Amanars to choose from, and the Rudy wasn't going to get in, especially with the values in that year.
Yep.
So I think that's hard. But also on that subject, you'd have Kayla Williams 2009 vault world champion.
Yes, that's true.
And also maybe the 2009 vault finals, the best Yurchenko double fold that's ever been competed.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Isn't it crazy to think
it's the United States of Amanar, and these things probably aren't getting on the team, but at least worth considering.
Yeah. So I think that I really thought about Sacramone. I thought about Finnegan too, because just for absolute beauty of perfect form. And I just felt like, see, that's how you get no deductions, which is finally where the code has gone now. You need to minimize your deductions and do less, and not just go crazy D score, which has been what the US is good at. But so I think those would be my alternates, and I would have taken Allie off and put EB in Allie's spot. And then I would have taken Kyla off and put Annalee in for her bar score.
I think that's probably a pretty high scoring team. I think that's I'm just saying. I don't
There's
think
an argument for it.
Base team. I think that's has a high score. If we were playing, if they were able to reach their peak that they never reached, I'm saying Maddie Larson was trending toward being able to be on the London team, but certain people intervened to ruin her life, and then so we never got to see it. So she doesn't have the peak performance argument to be on this team, but she had the capabilities.
Yeah, the other two people I was looking at is Sabrina Vega and Maddie Larson, and Casey Jo McGee.
Well, okay, but now we're just feeling.
First of all,
I love Casey Jo and that beam routine too. I'm never going to argue against that perfect beam routine, but
round off full on, the side flip, the backspin, every cool skill that's ever been done on beam was in there. It's the coolest beam of all time. And we know if she had the time, I just feel like we never got elite peak Casey Jo McGee, who's now the head coach at Pitt, was a coach at Missouri.
Casey Jo McPherson, but as we have established on this podcast, we cannot keep track of people's married names. That's not something we're able to do or interested in doing.
We did not acknowledge this. Yeah, so I would have that. I think that beam, had she had time to get it down, would have scored really well, and I think the judging would have loved it. I think the judging at that time would have been like, oh, someone's doing something creative and fun and different and hits it. And we were doing these
judges are you
we
talking
competed.
about? I feel like they would have been like, ugh, it's interesting. How dare you? Your foot was out of place.
Not the American judges. The ones that were like, we don't see your bent legs. Do whatever you want. Those beam judges. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we also have to talk about the all-around conversation with the everyone at their peak.
Yes.
Situation.
One more thing I want to say about Sabrina Vega. We never saw Sabrina Vega at her peak. Sabrina Vega was such a great gymnast. She was on a world team. We never got her actual peak. I don't think we ever saw her as good as she could have been. So that's why I didn't put her in here. Okay, all around. Who does all around?
Okay. Well, I have. It's hard, but I think for me it was still Douglas Maroney and Raceman, or Douglas Weber and Raceman, not Maroney. I mean, I would have loved it, but underrated on every other event that's not vault, by the way, Michaela Maroney, but not her in the all-around. Douglas, Raceman, and Weber in the all-around. But if you're saying at their peak, I think Weber's making the all-around final.
Yep.
If everyone's performing peak performance.
Yeah.
I think Weber and Douglas, even though Allie qualified ahead of them. But
yep. For me too, it's
peak performance who's making the final, but who's winning?
Well, wait, so for me, the only person I'm adding to that is EB. EB's going to be in there.
You have EB doing the all-around.
Yes.
In qualification.
EB, Gabby, and Jordan doing all-around.
Right.
Yeah.
Because your other team members are Annalie and Maroney, right? And so Maroney's vaulting, Annalie's doing bars. You'll figure out beam and floor, who cares?
Exactly. So, yeah, so I think who makes it, I mean, that's the thing. At Jordan's peak, she would have made it. And I still think Gabby would have finished where she was. Yeah. I don't think there's any doubt that Gabby would have won.
That game, she's a gamer.
Yeah, she totally is. That's the thing. That's why Marta was like, so you fell on beam. We're not putting you up on beam. We don't care about beam. You're here for bars.
Like time she balked 100 times on beam when she was like a brand new senior, and then never again.
Right. Like, you got to give people a second chance, give them stability, and they can do amazing things. So, okay, time is up. We exceeded.
I'm ready. Okay. Are we moving on to Beijing 2008?
I am so ready for Beijing.
Ready. I'm very ready for this. Okay.
Okay, this was 6-4-3.
Right, so we're on to 6-member teams, which looking back on it feels like so many, like it feels so luxurious. Like you're baby who can sit on a couch and just have so much room. That's what picking a 6-member team feels like.
Sitting on a couch.
Yeah, sit a baby up on a couch, and their legs like don't even reach halfway toward the cushion, and you're like, oh, the dream.
That's such an excellent visual. Thank you for that, Spencer. Yeah. I get the full picture of that. So, okay, the actual team we know.
Nastia Lukin, Sean Johnson, Alicia Sacramone, Chellsie Memmel, Sam Pesek, Bridget Sloan. I contend Nastia, Sean, Alicia, Chellsie, lock. From 2005 through 2008, at their peak, that 4 is solid. I don't see any argument where you could take them off. Do you agree with that? With those 4?
I do agree, because honestly, the only other person that I would not absolutely take them out. There's no way. Bridget Sloan would not be a world champion until after this Olympics. And then the only person I would put in here and add is Ivana Hong. Ivana Hong. Yeah. So I don't know if I would take, because Bridget had really good bars. Pesek was, you could put her anywhere, basically.
Yeah, until she got hurt, but then, yes.
Until everyone on this team had a broken bone, pretty much. Like Memmel and Pesek, or a torn ligament or something. Yeah, so I would have...
Nastia stayed healthy through that process is still, like, the miracle of all time.
That Nastia could compete.
Healthy enough to compete, enough to be the Olympic champion.
Right. That happened. Yes, I agree. I I always wonder if there's ever a day when we have like, you know, MRIs and X-rays before people are allowed to compete. Oh, the stories it would tell. But then again, some people are total freaks and they're like, yeah, labrums in my shoulders, I don't need those, and my bars are still the best. So anyway, Ivana Hong, I probably would have put her in. I was trying to think if is it Peshek or Bridget.
Well, here's my thing.
Yeah.
We have our 4 established. That's almost solid for your 3-up team final.
Yeah.
Definitely at their peaks, healthy. On beam and floor, you have more than enough routines just with those 4 for what you need.
Yeah.
Vault, Memmel, and Lucan, not necessarily your top. I think you can you want to add a third vaulter to that.
Yeah.
With Sean and Alicia. And then bars, obviously you're not using Alicia. Sean went and can go, but it's not the highest score. So you kind of, your other 2 spots, which I think is the position they were in, you want a vaulter and you want a floor. There wasn't like a secret Amanar yet to put in on vault. Like there wasn't someone competing that quad who was like, I have a better vault than a solid Yurchenko double full. I think Peshek had the best Yurchenko double full of the contenders. So that's why she's still on my team. And then you're looking for and the big question was always like, who's the bars routine? Who's the bars routine? Daggett and Elfie. We're talking about the bars routine ad nauseum. But the problem was no one. Like that person didn't exist who was going to be better than Sean's. There were a lot of people who were at that level. Bridget Sloan, Yana Beeger, Shayla, theoretically.
You mean beam?
Bars.
John Johnson's bars?
Bars was fine.
Yeah, fine. Okay.
But not...
You're better than is where I got confused. Yes,
Sorry.
Okay.
I think you had a lot of people who were fine on bars also, but weren't necessarily better than Sean.
Yes.
Like Bridget Sloan, Yana Beeger, Shayla theoretically, although she was not near 100% during the trials process. And my thing with Ivana is, at that point, it's theoretical. Like, did we ever actually see the bars routine from her that would have outscored the team that was selected? Or was it just like, first of all, you're Ivana Hong and you're perfect.
Right.
And your potential is there. But then, you have stupid gauge composition that got destroyed. And then in 2007, and then 2008, you have stupid gauge mental composition. You can't hit at trials.
Oh, I know. We have to we have to basically be like, we put them in a bubble where they had everything they needed. They had like the medical support, the emotional support, the right coaches who built them up instead of tore them down. They had the perfect routine construction genius. They had someone was like, that's enough. Stop. Have a sandwich. You don't break anything else. All of that was happening. And so I think I probably would have taken Ivana Hong over Bridget Sloan because of 2008 Bridget Sloan, not 2009 Bridget Sloan, but 2008 Bridget Sloan. I would have taken Ivana because I would have been like, she can do it. She has the core that we want, and she's not going to get any execution deductions. Maximizing there.
Think it's I'm with you. That's the only potential change I would make to this team also, is Ivana instead of Bridget Sloan. Because
I think some people would also ask, like, why not Shayla Worley? And I just think she was not scoring high enough to make it worth taking Shayla Worley on the team.
And yeah, even in 2007, when she was on the team, the Worlds team, I think it wasn't that different from what Sean was doing in 2008 on bars. So, yeah, I think that one's hard to disagree. Another one that's hard to disagree with.
Okay, so who's your third all-arounder? Since now our team is, which we both agreed with, is so Nastia, Sean, Alicia Sacramone, Chellsie Memmel, Sam Peshek, and Ivana Hong.
Yeah, so Alicia's not going on bars, obviously.
Obviously.
And Ivana is. So I get, Nastia and Sean are doing the all around. Yeah, if you have Chellsie and Sam healthy.
I think Chellsie would have been, because Chellsie was already 2000. Who was world champion in 2007?
Sean.
Okay. So Memmel wasn't until
Memmel was 2005.
2005, yeah. I would have put Memmel in. She was the year before the fall world championships. You can be a world champion with a fall. And then they were like, let's up that deduction to a whole point.
But so the problem with this is you need to put Nastia in the all-around in qualification because it's Nastia. But that means you're putting her vault in. But it was great at the
She did amazing at the Olympics.
It was great once.
I would never have put her in vault.
Right, but then you have...
Okay, well, I would have had her
Sean has to vault, Alicia has to vault, Nastia has to vault. If Peshek's on the team to vault, she needs to vault, otherwise why is she here? Those are my 4 vaulters in qualification, and then I don't have Chellsie Memmel vaulting in qualification.
Yeah, that's probably true, actually. But, I mean, do we think...
I think beam is the hardest.
I'm thinking about vault, like, are we worried about who's going to make... I mean, do we think Memmel or Peshek are going to make... I mean, it's really between Nastia and Sean who's going to make all-around finals. Like, there wasn't...
So you could say Peshek doesn't vault in qualification, but does in the team
final. Right.
Which is, like, kind of weird, but they've done it before, like with Maggie Nichols on bars. Like, it's not... As long as you're not like, oh my god, you might fall a million times, I need to test whether you can actually hit under pressure in qualification, then it's okay. It's vault. I think beam's the hardest with this team. If you have like Peshek and Memmel didn't do beam at the Olympics because they were hurt. But if you have healthy Peshek and Memmel, like at Peshek's best event is actually beam. Because have you heard her talk about beam? Have you ever watched the beam? She does not come alive until she can start talking about beam hands. But like Sean, Nastia, Alicia, Bridge, like Alicia was a quarter tenth away from making the event final on beam at the Olympics in qualification. Just fell in the team final. And Memmel and Peshek, like that's a very tough argument.
That one I would really have to, because like my heart is Ivana Hong does beam because it's beautiful and everyone else can wait. While everyone stop what you're doing.
Clear the floor. Ivana's doing beam.
But we want to win and it has to be team. The team has to win the medal. So in that case, I think I probably would have put Sacramone up because she was killing it at the time. But then Memmel is a world champion and knows the pressure. So, but all of them have been on so many world teams by this time. So I think I would have put Memmel on beam in team finals.
So who's not going? Ivana and who? Peshek?
Yeah. I would have taken Peshek out.
Yeah.
That's before I saw... we're doing this all before we actually see how everyone's training in China and dealing with the differences.
It's hard to take Peshek off beam because it's Peshek's beam.
I know. Also, time's up.
Okay.
So we could...
Right. And then we don't have... I'm not using Ivana or Chellsie probably on floor.
Yes. Even though Chellsie was so good before, but this is... Yeah.
I know that day 2 trials floor with the standing ovation.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult to deny.
Yep.
Maybe you don't use Peshek on floor. I don't know. I think the lineups are tough if everyone's healthy because they were made easy by the fact that no one was healthy.
Yeah, that's the thing. But I think
Sean was Sean kind of like gymnast healthy.
Yeah, I think she was.
Yeah,
because she was always given bone broth to drink at the end of her workouts by Chow.
There you go.
As far as we know, she was healthy. Yeah. Okay. Athens 2004.
20,000.
It's 2004.
2004. 2004.
Yeah. Athens.
Okay, the actual team. This is to me the hardest one.
This team is perfect. I'm not changing anything. I will fight you. Alex's team made me actually angry because Alex picked all of his teams and I was like, I will run. He made people alternates who are on the team and I can't even. No, I
think this is the most ripe for change is this team. So the team was Carly Patterson, Courtney Kupets, Courtney McCool, Taryn Humphrey, Mohini Bardwaj, Anya Hatch. You have access to everyone. I think like as it played out, I still think this is the most difficult trials there's ever been to pick who the US team was. Because there were so many good nominees, and there were also some people who did not get the scores that they deserve, and I have some questions about them to this day. And yes, I am talking about Tasha Schweigert.
And also, they didn't pick the team. They did it at camp live on TV, and it was so traumatic. They've never done it before. So yes,
never done it again is what you mean. But
yeah. Oh, again. Sorry. Yes, I'm distracted by my general anger.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what I'm saying. What is this team? So this team finished in silver medal position at the Olympics. And I think when you look at those scores and look at that team, there are holes that that team had as things actually played out at the Olympics.
Because everyone was broken in half. Patterson, like 3 broken, fractured back fractures.
Carly Patterson was never able to do gymnastics ever again.
Right. Coupette's had a fracture in her hip, I think.
And was still not all the way back from that Achilles.
Yeah. I mean, it was like
forcing it. She was back, but it was like
her leg wouldn't go up in the air to do a turn on floor. That's how not to get it. And McCool had a navicular fracture, which no one was allowed to examine, which that's why those rules changed. So she actually couldn't use her hand without being in extreme pain. As far as I know, Mohini was the only person that came away from that totally healthy. She told me, she's like, I had no injuries. And she said it was because she ate the whole time. I ate everything the whole time.
That'll do it.
Eating, very important for the sports, turns out. Okay.
So.
And I'm not implying eating disorders. I'm just saying the mood under Marta at Athens, which is Marta's first I was in charge Olympics, wasn't it? Athens was the first one she's in charge? Yeah.
Because Sydney was the Bella show.
Right. That Athens was her like walking past, with her arms behind her back, looking down at what everyone was eating. Yeah. All of that stuff.
Okay. As things played out at the Olympics, the US team, where they found their biggest deficit to Romania, was floor. That team was too hurt and didn't have the floors, and very few people, like Mohini, you probably wouldn't normally have thought she's going to go on floor in the team final, but she was like intact and you needed her. They had to have Coupettes go. It didn't go great. I think the biggest thing this team needed was Tasha Schweigert's 2001 floor routine in the black leotard.
Oh, yes.
I think that is an upgrade for this team. And if you don't even have McCool doing anything in the team final, because she can't, I think there is a solid argument there. I would also look at Chellsie Memmel coming into Worlds as an alternate in 2003 and killing it. That Chellsie Memmel,
right,
over Taryn Humphrey's bars and beam. Taryn Humphrey did bars and beam in the team final. I would take Chellsie or Hollie Vise in that spot for bars and beam over Taryn Humphrey.
There was this team, I feel like at the peak, this quad is so hard, the 2004 quad, because we had for the first time so many Olympic. This is when it was so rare to have a world medalist at all. A world medalist was still rare in 2004. So we had Ashley Postel was a world medalist.
Also a very good argument for this team.
Right. And then we had, who was it that Katie, she competed with open wound staph infection on bars and won a medal. Katie, she went to Georgia.
Katie Heenan?
Heenan. Yes, she talked about that. The staph infections, that never killed anybody. It's fine. Gymnastics is gross. Katie Heenan before her back injuries. Tabitha Yim before her Achilles. Hollie Vise, who was Hollie? Did she win bars in 2003? Was she world champion on bars? Hollie Vise? I think she was. When she lost her number in 2003 at Worlds, and then they had to write it on a piece of paper.
2003 Worlds.
That was
what another time it was.
That's right.
What year did Hollie Vise win? Yeah, it was 2003.
2003, yeah. And then Tasha, who was just at her absolute peak in this quad. She was a baby in 2000, and
then she found
absolutely,
her Tasha in
she
2001. And we
so
were like,
found her
this is what
Tasha.
we need.
She had full puberty power. All her power was the 2004 quad. She was amazing.
I will also put out there Liz Tricas.
Yes.
Who could vault the house down.
Oh my God. And the most men's team woman to ever be on a women's gymnastics team. Did not stop screaming for her teammates, no matter where she was, no matter how Marta looked at her like, shut up and be quiet. We're not supposed to act like this. She did not care. The most supportive human being that's ever been. She's like the Nola Matthews of the Athens, like just so great.
Okay, so
yeah.
If I'm going to say something, I'm going to say 6 names to you right now, and I want you to react.
Yeah.
Patterson, Kupets, Bardwaj, Tricas, Schweikert, Memmel.
That's a great team.
I'm throwing my 2004 team out there.
Mine is Patterson.
I mean, obviously, I know Makula's on your team because you can't not with her form.
I know. It's just, her form was so good. This is the thing. There were so many great athletes. I mean, Chellsie Memmel absolutely is 100% on my team. Like 2003, she was just spectacular. I actually think that was the best she ever was, including when she became a world champion. This is before and I totally support her ability to switch coaches, but I think that what she lost when she switched coaches after this is she lost the artistry that made her gymnastics so special after she switched. So this was my favorite era of Chellsie Memmel.
Chellsie Memmel.
Remember her really good artistry back in that
also, going through GIFs, I saw the one from like a year ago when the graphic, the lower third for Chellsie Memmel said Chelsea Mammal. And I've been thinking about Chelsea Mammal again for like a week.
So I would have put, and Patterson was just not a normal human. Like she is just like ridiculous.
Yeah, you can't put Carly on that team.
Carly has to be on the team.
Her floor choreography, no one ever needs to see ever again, notwithstanding. But like, you can't not put Carly on that team.
Yeah, she's absolutely on the team. And her standing Arabian, remember, it was just like, what? Like, did you even have to try to jump? Like, I feel like she could sit on her butt and do a standing Arabian on beam. Like, she's just
that would be a sitting Arabian.
A sitting Arabian. That's right. Like, it's not a punch standing front. It's just a standing front. Yeah. So I'm gonna put Patterson, Memmel, Kupets, because she was.
They still needed her bars. Like,
they needed her bars.
Yeah.
And you could always count on her. She was gonna hit. McCool because of form. Patterson, Memmel, Kupets, McCool.
Mohini, and then because I can't imagine you not putting Mohini on your team.
I would have lost my mind if Mohini
would rather die than not have Mohini on every Olympic team since the beginning of time.
And also her giant vault. She had great bars. You know she would hit a beam routine because you could put her up in any situation. She had all the college experience of hitting under pressure. And she had great floor with a big ass double layout punch front, immediate front. So I'm putting Mohini on. So that's 5. So this is where
one more.
I know. And this is where I was like, peak Hollie Vise. I probably would have put Hollie Vise on the team.
It's very hard not to put peak Hollie Vise on a team. I think your team needs another vault though.
But then Tasha would be the person. If we need a vault, I would have taken Tasha. And Tasha you can put anywhere, and she has great scores everywhere and great bars. So
I want to mix and match my Tashas from this era, like her floor from 2001 and her bars from 2003, and then that's making my peak Tasha, and then she's definitely on the team.
Yeah. Yep.
This one's very hard because I think there were so many very viable options and people we haven't even gone into, like who were very good, but I don't have room on the team, like Elisa Shino.
Oh yeah.
Who did really well at Olympic trials and had a very good argument, but I kind of like don't have room on my peak team for her. Alex would like you to know that Crystal Uzelak is on the team.
Okay, Alex. That's cute. That was adorable. When you put Crystal Uzelak is an incredible athlete to watch, but I think she had too many built-in deductions. to fit into
I feel
this
like
group.
we never saw her
That's true.
We never
though
saw what she could do.
she was
'Cause she got
always hurt.
parketed.
She did get parketed so hard. We really are lucky we got EB because she didn't get parketed. Yeah. And Anya Hatch, it's like I love her, that story of coming from Cuba to the United States and being out of gymnastics and then coming back and making the team. But I also think we didn't have peak Anya because she had her knee injury. So she could have been even better than we ever actually saw.
So you feel
her.
like she's one we never saw the peak?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But she's also like, I don't not want her on the team. Well, Alex wants us to pick other. Listen, Alex. The only people I would have taken off the team. I mean, I said my team.
Yeah,
but
you're putting Memmel in instead of Taryn Humphrey.
Right.
And maybe Hollie Vise instead of Anya Hatch, and you're just forgetting Bars. Or you're forgetting Vault.
Yeah. Who needs that? Oh, time's up. Oh, we're in big trouble. We went way over. Okay.
We haven't even established our team final lineups, but okay. I'll allow it. We'll have to do part 2. Pick our 1976 US teams.
Oh, love it.
Okay. We still have to talk about Sydney.
Oh, we could pick Soviets that never got to compete but had the craziest routines. Oh my God. That would be amazing.
You do that research for that one. I'm not doing that.
Okay, where are we? Are we in Sydney? Okay.
We're on Sydney.
This is our last one, you guys.
I mean, talk about an injured team and what it would have looked, how different it would have looked if people
talk about how a coach can single-handedly destroy any chance of getting a medal. That's what Bella Caroli did.
Okay, the actual team: Krista Maloney, Elise Ray, Jamie Dancher, Amy Chow, Dominique Dawes, and then originally Morgan White, replaced by Tasha Schweigert. So, thoughts?
Obviously,
initial reflections?
The team is Vanessa Atler.
Yeah, I mean, and I will say, like, we have done like maybe 3 commissions about why Vanessa Atler should have been on the 2000 team, so I feel like we don't need to go into details, but like, obviously, Vanessa Atler is on this team.
Yeah, obviously, Vanessa Atler, Dominique Moceanu, because we get to choose 1998 Goodwill Games, the best Moceanu there's ever been. You think you liked Moceanu at the 96 Olympics? That was your peak team? Oh, no. Grown-up adult human being competing, not a child. Dominique Moceanu was.
This is taking her parents to court Moceanu.
Yes.
This is beating Svetlana Horkina Moceanu.
Yes.
Although I maintain that Svetlana Horkina tanked the Goodwill Games because she does not recognize the concept of goodwill. It's against her religion. So that's what happened there.
Oh my God. Yes, exactly. Also on this team, so those are my big, I mean, and Shannon Miller, this is the thing. I mean,
I feel like it's theoretical though in this.
It is because we never saw her that quad.
We didn't see her hit healthy.
Yeah. And Dawes was great at the Olympics, but I would never have taken her because she also didn't compete.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have her on the team in place of Vanessa Atler. Like, that's who I'm swapping out to put Atler on the team. I would also say I want Jenny Thompson 1999 American Cup 1999 Nationals on this team.
Yes, Jenny Thompson.
And I think like if the Olympics had been in 1999, she's a lock for that team. Yes, I agree. So I think, okay, we know we're putting Atler on the team because she's Vanessa Atler.
Yes.
I think Maloney, Dancher, and Elise Ray are set. I'm fine with that. I don't have any reason to take any of the 3 of them off the team. I think they're the top 3. But you're taking Moceanu. I'm saying I have Atler, Ray, Dancher, and Maloney so far. Okay. Moceanu 98 Goodwill Games instead of Amy Chow. Yep. And then Jenny Thompson 99 instead of Morgan White. Yep. And I think I feel really good about that team, actually. Mm-hmm. I agree with your team. Yeah, I'm very happy with this team. Because I feel like Jenny Thompson, bars and beam, could outscore what Morgan White was doing. And, we know Morgan White was not in a place, through no fault of her own, to compete physically and mentally in Sydney. So, I mean, who was? I guess that's not a great argument. But
Nobody
so
was.
I'm putting in Jenny Thompson, at least for the Morgan White events. I'm putting in Moceanu. I feel like we've got good coverage. This is a 6-5-4, so we need 5 people, 5 of the 6 for qualification. Like, you wouldn't use Atler on bars, obviously.
Yes. I want to
Although you could also just not use Moceanu on bars and give Atler a chance at the all-around. I don't hate that.
I think I would have put Beckerman in instead of... So I'm replacing...
Okay, you're making a change.
Yeah, I kind of think that's who I would have put in my Morgan White spot. But Schweiker was also great. But at that era, I did not see her... If I was going off of this whole quad, I wouldn't have taken Schweiker, because that was when she just first appeared. She was still an egg, and then she just hatched right in time for that Olympics.
When she was named to the Olympic team, the general reaction was like, "Wait, who?
Who?" Yeah,
because my memory is that they didn't even show her basically during trials.
Right? Yeah, we had no idea who she was. Okay, so mine's Maloney, Ray, Dancher, and then Atler, Dominique Moceanu, Beckerman, and Dawes.
Okay, you've picked too many people.
Oops.
That's 7.
Yeah.
And you didn't pick Jenny Thompson, so your team is incorrect, but that's fine.
Okay. So I'm taking out...
It is one of those things, like, I'd have to go back. It's one of those things where, like, I would need to go back and rewatch routines because your memory changes.
It does.
What you think the routine happened, because my memory of Jenny Thompson's 99 American Cup beam routine is that it's like the best routine anyone's ever done. Like it's literally like a 10-0 execution of perfect. And if I went back and watch it now, I'm sure I would be like, nope, no. But in my mind, it's like, that's the perfect beam routine.
It is crazy. Like, remember we went back and watched the 92 Olympics and we're like, oh my God, it's so bad. No one can has straight legs. No one can do a split. Like, it is crazy how doing this show has revealed our own internal, bias of memory. That
memory is a trickster god.
It is. This is why you should never take a lie detector test or rely just on your memory. Just saying. Lie detector test.
Always record everything.
Right. This is what we learned. There's a great app for that. The ACLU has one.
Don't, because as we've learned from doing this podcast, sometimes you end up recording things that you wish you hadn't, you need to make unsaid yet.
Like our last collagen cocktails, which I said something I didn't mean. I meant to say one thing and I combined the words together and came up with the most horrific phrase.
That is not a problem. That's not like offensive. That was just hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is.
Okay, anyway,
okay.
You're putting Beckerman on your team.
Yeah, I think so. I think I probably would have taken Dawes off because I had not seen anything from
You've
her.
already taken Dawes off for Vanessa Adler. So you have to take Amy Chow off to put on Beckerman?
Yeah. Okay. Even though I did very much enjoy, but Beckerman was just the beauty of the gymnastics. And she was on the team to start with. So I feel good about one. Yeah, that's my 6.
I would like some credit for my professionalism in that I am willing to take Amy Chow off of an Olympic team, even though she is the best gymnast of all time.
She is the greatest.
Because I'm a professional person who is not swayed by personal biases.
Yes. Of course you are. Everybody understands. I don't think anyone really understands your true love for Amy Chow. It is very, very deep. Amy Chow, who's
things happened during the 96 Olympics that affected you for life, like watching Amy Chow's bars or Alexei Nemaz's gala pommel horse routine.
Oh,
they are deeply influential for in perpetuity.
Oh, men's gymnastics. Only you had a Alexei Nemaz again. Okay, so who's not all around? Who's making your all around? Obviously, Vanessa Adler will be Olympic champion.
Yeah, so this is the hard thing because then you're putting her up on bars in qualification.
But we're saying if this is people at their peak,
she did hit bars sometimes.
And in our imagination, she is given all the things she needs.
Bars peak her per day where she hit. She is Olympic all-around champion
That's
in
right.
2000, obviously.
Right, and there would be no...
She's not bothered by that vault setting. She's like, I've dealt with worse. Have you met Bella?
This is not a problem for me.
This is
Yeah,
fine.
she's very adaptable. We wouldn't have the drug controversy and the all-around. We would just have, boop, Vanessa Atler, Olympic champion, and we wouldn't have had the Romanian...
Yeah, so I would have Kristen Maloney is also doing the all-around.
Yeah.
And Elise Ray is doing the all-around.
Yes.
Those are my 3 all-arounders. And then Vanessa Adler is Olympic all-around champion, obviously.
Would I have Moceanu, though? No, I think I would take out... If
I have Adler doing bars in qualification, I think I don't have Moceanu.
Okay. I have Adler and Moceanu at their peak. So 98 Goodwill Games, Moceanu doing all-around.
Fair.
With Adler. And then I think Ray, Elise Ray would have been my other all-arounder.
And then you don't have Kristen Maloney in the all-around?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think at that time, too, I think that's the right choice. I would have had her on bars for sure. Yeah.
I think you have everyone on your team on bars, but all right. I'm picking and choosing my battles at this point. I think you have 6 people going on bars, but...
I mean, if the team... That's the thing. Our goal, Alex told us to pick who would win for teams, so I wouldn't have put Adler on bars. So then she doesn't... So then I can't have it both ways. So I would have had Maloney, Ray...
And Moceanu, you said.
Yeah. Would be my all-rounders. Yeah. All right, well, we won
we fixed gymnastics
100 times in a row. U.S. is Olympic champions. 10 Olympics in a row. We did it.
All right. Let us know what you think, where we went wrong, who we forgot. Show your work. You have to explain it.
And I think we should, Alex, if it's okay with you, I'm going to message you about this. If it's okay if we share your work for this episode, because I think people will love seeing what you put together. Like, we loved reading what you put together. And
we didn't even go to event finals. Alex went into event finals.
Yes.
That would have taken too long.
No. And we wouldn't be able to debate, which is the most important thing about, which we agreed a lot on this.
I know, it's a shame. We need to work on that.
I know. We need
to go back and disagree some more.
Yeah. I think that's the next one. We do the follow-up to this. We'll it's sure just pick. We need another one of those that's just...
We've been around each other too long. We start to meld opinions, and it's a shame.
You know, we're going to get letters about you wouldn't put Shannon Miller on the team. Shannon Miller just showed up. What's wrong with you? Obviously, she should have been there. She was breathing. You
not
put her on Olympic team.
Post 96, she's not on the team.
Yeah. But you did come up with the Jenny Thompson, which I also would have put Nina Kim in here somewhere, but I forget which quad she was. But I would like to put her retroactively on one of my teams.
All right. Jessica has gone into the feeling zone to put Nina Kim on.
Okay, follow-up. Can we do a follow-up, Alex, please? We do another commission where it's just us picking. Forget the team. Team is boring. What's actually important is accepting everyone's differences. And this is how, by accepting and acknowledging differences, we actually become closer together and more supportive. So we are just choosing teams that would win the most medals on individual events. That's the one I want to do.
Boring.
Team Shmeem. Can you imagine if we 2 event medals on every event at Olympics? Come on. That's the best thing ever.
Who across these Olympics that did you not select who you would have? Like, what's your biggest? If you had what you want, if you had your way, and we were talking event finals.
If it was just feelings, event finals, I mean, I would have put Ivana Hong. I would have put Anna Lee. This is just form and difficulty.
Mm-hmm. Hollie Vise. Then Hollie Vise is definitely on your 2004.
Hollie Vise, Maddie Larson, and Maddie Larson again.
And Maddie Larson again. And Maddie Larson. Yeah.
And Casey Jo McGee.
Yeah.
She's my number one. If you really want to know. And
Jessica's gymnastics heart song is Casey Jo.
Yeah. That's right. I will put a link in the show notes to her beam, her college beam and her elite beam. It's the most creative. She just didn't have enough time to get comfortable and get consistent with it. But she's just one of the greatest beam workers to ever live. Like I put her up there with Lily.
Wow.
The Lily of the backspin. So that's...
Yeah, you have to clarify that we're not talking about Lily, head of USA Gymnastics.
USA Gymnastics. I've never seen her beam. Where are the videos? What?
Yeah, really.
I'm gonna see her at MIT, so I'll ask.
We want like USAG's YouTube to put up a Lily Lung retrospective of routine videos.
Yes. It can be your favorite skills. Doesn't have to be everything, cut it a highlight reel. That's what we'd like to see. Okay, I'll request it from her.
Okay.
Do you think we should end our panel with handstands? Because I think we should. No one else is going to. Right. I agree. That was the correct answer. It's the only way to finish.
Who says no first?
Well, she had the arm injury, so I have to see how her shoulder is doing, so if she can do a handstand right now. So, you guys, we will see you first, starting on Friday. We will see you at 4 p.m. Pacific for the watch along with Spencer at gymcastic.com. So you can make comments. It's fun. It's like a whole conversation. There's gifts. It's a good time. And then we will see you after that on Friday, March 15th. We're watching UCLA, Utah. And then we're doing College and Cocktails at 7:30 Pacific. That's Saturday, not Friday, you guys. It's Saturday. Saturday. So your watch along is Friday at 4.
Correct.
But College and Cocktails.
The watch along will probably be a little longer because we don't have to stop to go into College and Cocktails. But
then the College and Cocktails will be the next day on Saturday at 7:30 Pacific.
7:30 after the Utah UCLA meet.
Yeah, which is going to be a really fun one to watch. And remember, you can add the schedule to your there's a link in the show notes. You can add the schedule to your calendar, even if you have an Android or an iPhone, and then you won't mess up the days like I just did because you'll have it right there on your phone. So if you too would like to commission an episode like Alex, aka the I Love You Tasha guy, which is going to be mad that we didn't put Tasha on enough teams. I mean, I think we did put her on all the teams.
Alex didn't put Tasha on teams. So Alex. I think we have freedom to. Alex was busy putting Crystal Uzelac on teams.
That's true. He was. Alex. Oh, Alex. Thank you so much, Alex, for supporting the show. We could not do this without you guys. And we are, as far as I know, the only outlet that is planning on going to Worlds this year. So this is the kind of thing that helps us pay for those very expensive plane tickets to halfway across the world. No, it's literally on the other side of the world. So if you want to do something like this, you can commission any topic at all. Right now, our mini commissions are open. So we will talk for 10 or 15 minutes about any topic you want. We can't watch an entire movie. That is the one thing we can't do for a mini commission, but those are currently open. And we also have group commissions, which are open. So we have picked some like movies and other things that we could watch to do a group commission. And you can go in with friends on that and then get one of those. And yeah, check it out. It's at gymcastic.com under the join at the club tab. And let us know if you have ideas that you would like us to put up in the group commissions. If there's a weird gymnastics horror movie where someone's an egg, those kind of things, those could go in there. Yeah, but we do have veto power because since I cannot watch horror movies, but that one I could watch the trailer and we could do a mini commission on that. So anyway, thanks so much, Alex. We really appreciate you. We will see you. Spencer will see you Friday for the watch along. We'll both see you on Saturday for College and Cocktails. Thank you so much for supporting the show, Alex. And we hope more of you will commission, do a mini commission right now, or a Joy or Rageometer. You can also commission. And if you have ideas, send them to gymcastic@gmail.com. So until Saturday, thanks for listening. Remember to take off on gay, split on rights, and we'll see you on Saturday. Thanks for listening.